Hey guys, today is obviously one of the most important and remarkable days for us Chinese and for you Australians, right? That our relationship is kind of facing some challenge. According to Mr. Morrison, it seems like it's our spokesman posted an image which described as, by him, falsified image on his Twitter account. Even though he is the spokesman of our Ministry of Foreign Affairs, he does have a personal Twitter account. I'll put this image here in case you didn't get a chance to look at it, right? You can still find this image on Zhao Lijian's Twitter account. It's open to public. And what I covered with this mosaic is the Australian soldier in this image holding a knife at the throat of an Afghanistan kid that is holding a lamp. First thing first, artist is obviously trying to remind us of the war crime committed by Australian soldiers in Afghanistan, right? You're definitely gonna ask, did Australian soldiers kill innocent kids and citizens in Afghanistan? The answer is quite simple, yes. Did they commit a crime in such an inhuman way? Yes again. This is the first page of the report by Australian Defence Force. Not anything related to China, okay? And a several hundred pages report, I'll just show you the result. There they would be tied up, Afghanistan citizens and kids, and tortured by special forces, sometimes for days. When the special forces left, the men and boys would be found dead, shot in the head, or blindfolded and with throats slit. Okay, if you don't trust these verbal things, we'll take a look at what this man has to say.
23 incidents of alleged unlawful killing of 39 people by 25 Australian Special Forces personnel, predominantly from the Special Air Service Regiment. Those alleged to have been unlawfully killed were all people under control, in lay terms prisoners, farmers or other civilians. This shameful record includes alleged instances in which new patrol members were coerced to shoot a prisoner in order to achieve that soldier's first kill in an appalling practice known as blooding. Turning to the Inspector General's report, he found none of the alleged unlawful killings were described as being in the heat of battle. None were alleged to have occurred in circumstances in which the intent of the perpetrator was unclear, confused or mistaken. And every person spoken to by the inquiry thoroughly understood the law of armed conflict and the rules of engagement under which they operated.
He's not some random dude walking out of nowhere like me. Lieutenant General Campbell, Chief of Australian Defence Force. What we have right now, the result here, obviously from your Department of National Defence, is that at least 39 innocent Afghanistan citizens, including two 14-year-old kids, were murdered by Australian Special Forces. Possibly we should be apologizing to Ms. Morrison for this falsified image that will only draw one kid instead of two. And of course, it's not only slitting their throat, not that easy, possibly adding some torture at least. Interestingly enough, according to Prime Minister Morrison, the falsified image deeply offensive to those Australians wearing uniform. I don't like it in first place. Even though we're talking about someone feeling deeply offensive, don't you think it's the innocent dead Afghanistan citizens and the kids should always come first, considering how offensive it is? The Chinese artist being so kind, not being realistic, he should have just drawn based on the fact, right? Draw another 38 bodies lying around the Australian soldier, right? That's what happened, at least according to a report we have here. And I'm also being real nice to not adding on any, questioning of the numbers and whether other crimes were committed in Afghanistan by Australian troopers. But Ms. Morrison also repetitively mentioned the word ashamed, claiming it's China who should be ashamed for all this mess.
Australia is seeking an apology from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs from the Chinese government for this outrageous post. We are also seeking its removal immediately and have also contacted Twitter to take it down immediately.
Again, I personally, deeply, sincerely apologize on my behalf. If I were him, for my carelessness not drawing based on the fact, when Australian Special Forces, obviously representing the traditional Western style of freedom, love, peace, and justice, hopping off helicopters out of nowhere like immortals or driving fancy armed jeeps or like superheroes, whatever. They did not just kill innocent kids and citizens, they also faked their dead bodies like enemies. They'll put a gun, put a grenade next to them and be like, oh, there's an enemy? What's this for? It's called blooding.
In order to achieve that soldier's first kill in an appalling practice known as blooding.
What's more, it further reminds us of how Australian Special Forces in Afghanistan, representing equity, freedom, justice, whatever, and well-trained soldiers, they were flying Nazi flags while on duty. I got picture 1 here, as you can find in the title, exclusive from ABC, aka Australian Broadcast Corporation, which is state-run official media. They verified this photo was not fake, it's not PS, edited, whatever, and later came the second photo. I'll not express any personal opinion on the war crimes committed by Australian soldiers in Afghanistan, but since I can read English, obviously, at least I can read the lyrics of Australian national anthem. Beneath our radiant Southern Cross, we'll toil with hearts and hands to make this Commonwealth of ours renowned of all the lands. While I saw a lot of Australian people trying to divert public attention, they're emphasizing how the tension between Australia and China are rising in recent days, right? I do not know if we have different standards, but we Chinese will never do or even think ourselves as a symbol of living justice or freedom, sending our soldiers to a foreign country, torture and killing innocent citizens, even kids. And even they go get rewards from your military system while flying Nazi flag on their fancy jeep paid by your tax money. Nothing to do with Chinese, okay? At the end of the day, when you get the pay, kiss your bae, hit the hay, won't you just take, a second before you really fall asleep, you see the ceilings, you be like, the fuck's wrong with Australia? That we have perfectly military trained perverts armed with best stuff we have in Australia, sending to a foreign country, Afghanistan, out of nowhere, and just fucking run wild, flying a Nazi flag, killing innocent Afghanistan citizens, even kids, faking their enemies, and get some reward from military system that is paid by your tax money. And even more hilarious and ironic is the Prime Minister, obviously elected by Australian people, a symbol of democracy, is claiming that it's China's fault that a Chinese artist drew an image on that. That made his glass heart broke, claiming it's repugnant, deeply offensive, and think China should be ashamed for all of this. You see how your media and how your government, who is, I'm supposing, to be neutral on that, is trying to lead their attention spot on the fact that the artist's nationality is Chinese. But the fuck's to do with that? For real, my fellow Australian friends, even we're not talking in any kind of political ideology or any from a state perspective, we just need to base it on humankind common sense. This shit is wrong. It's okay for your Prime Minister, Mr. Morrison, to not even mention the word Afghanistan in his several minutes speech, claiming that he demands an apology from China. And it's okay, I already apologized personally to that. If I were the artist, I would draw more realistically. Actually, you know what? I'll tell you good news, right? The original artist who drew this image, after knowing Miss Morrison is obviously pissed off, he feels sorry to show the world such a clumsy random painting, that he promised next level painting coming soon will be a true masterpiece, representing the ultimate Australian reputation. You see, I'm not here to mock you or something, and I personally have a lot of Australian friends, and I truly believe from bottom of my heart that a majority of Australian military are respectful, patriotic, good guys. But they saw, especially China, has nothing to do with how your Prime Minister react and how your media is trying to avoid talking this war crime. If you guys really think the pervert Australian soldiers in Afghanistan, what they did was absolutely okay, then whatever. At the end of the day, I'm not the one being protected by this group of perverts. I'm protected by Chinese People's Liberation Army. if I have a say, there's no one off. It is the best military on this planet. But for your guys, today they can slit throat the Afghanistan innocent kid. Why do you confidently think that you can protect your kids tomorrow? And if you think it's insane and not okay at all, congratulations, you passed the test. You're a normal human. But to correct something wrong, you have to first find out what the fuck is wrong. You have to identify, find out what is not working, what is causing the problem, why it takes this many years, like 15, 18 years for your law system just to sue these perverts. I'm not Australian. That's when we Chinese say, we do not intervene your internal affair. If you want to change, the key is in your hand. Change now. Or you can just keep following the mod, blaming China here and there, acting like we care or something. Good luck.